Hey everyone, hi there. It's me, Crystal, and it is day 2 of the Let's Get Wealthy 5-day challenge. So, as promised, I am recording a little video just to give a little bit of my thoughts about the process for day 2. So, the process for day 2 is all about envisioning, it's about getting into the feeling of the things that you want to create manifested. It's about allowing yourself to imagine with every fiber of your being, with your thoughts and your feelings about that thing actually being real, about that experience actually being real. And suspending disbelief that just by putting yourself in that energy, that you aren't actually creating it, and that it isn't actually already existing somewhere. And so I have a little story to share with you guys about this. So you may have seen the picture that I've been posting, and I'm putting it here somewhere. There's a beautiful landscape. It's a green grass with the sun coming up in a major beautiful vista view off into the distance. And that was actually the backyard of the house that I lived in a couple years ago. And so the story behind that is, I think, kind of interesting. The more that I study and explore and implement these practices, the more I realize that sometimes I've been doing it, maybe not even realizing what I was doing at the time. And so what had happened was I was living in a home here in Kennewick, and my family, we were all living in the house together. And it came a point in time where the owners of the home, we were renting the home, and they decided that they definitely needed to sell it. Well, we had already been living there for a year and a half, and we had the option to purchase the home, and it was a decision made within the family that nope, we weren't going to do that. So the owners of the home put the house on the market, and lo and behold, it sold very, very quickly. So we were in a situation where we needed to find someplace else to go, and fast. And so what I started doing was, of course, I immediately began to implement the tools that I already know of visioning and staying positive and creating from a place of knowing that there's infinite possibilities, and that we weren't going to be homeless. We weren't going to, the worst things that could happen weren't going to happen, because I was making a choice to not dwell on those things, but instead to focus my attention on the possibilities. And so what I began doing, I began thinking about where I would rather go. And of course, we were still in a place where we could, the option was still there for us to buy a home. And so I began that process again. I was like, let's just look and see what's out here that's available to purchase. And I thought, if we're going to buy a home, we might as well buy something that we really want. And me personally, I love a view. And here in the Tri-Cities, there's so many places that you can live that have amazing views. And so I started driving around, looking at different neighborhoods and driving up into the hills and saying, this would be beautiful. This would be an amazing place to live. Look at the view from here. And as I was doing this process, I was making that a reality within my own energy. I went on Craigslist one day and just looking again for property. The option was open to buy, but the option obviously was open to rent as well. And so I found a listing had just been posted, and immediately I looked at the pictures. I was like, oh, this looks really nice. I drove over to where the address of the house was. And I had never even been to this area of town. I didn't even know this area of a town existed. And it was up on a hill overlooking the east facing side of Kennewick. The backyard had a complete vista, and that's the picture that I showed you. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is incredible. This house is perfect for us. Now, the house wasn't for sale, it was for rent. But when I looked around it, it had, all the features that my family needed. And so I was like, yes, I want to definitely put an application in. Let's see if we can get this. Well, the property manager said, there's already somebody ahead of you. They just put the application in, and most likely we're going to give the house to them, but we'll keep you posted. And I was so disappointed. I was like, wow, this place was perfect. I even brought my mom over immediately and let her take a look around the place. And so I just was like, okay, we're just going to, again, the possibilities are limitless. We have infinite potential in every given moment. It's going to be what it's going to be, and I'm just letting it go, letting go of the outcome, and knowing that we're going to be okay whatever happens. Well, clearly we were able to move into that home. And so this is just one example of how utilizing these tools that I'm sharing with you can manifest in ways that you might not be able to imagine. You can get yourself into the feeling of what it is that you want to experience, and the universe will conspire to bring it to you, maybe in a way that's not exactly in your vision, but sometimes it's in a way that's even better than your vision. So I just wanted to share that with you. I want you to work on the practices. Take what you've already discovered as you've looked at what it is that you really want to, what you really want in your life, whether it's financially, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your health, doesn't matter. Whatever those things are that you have allowed yourself to dream big about, I want you to take one thing and then just focus on that one thing, what that one thing would actually feel like. So even if it's not in meditation, like in the example I just gave, I drove around Tri-Cities looking at places, looking at homes that had beautiful views, and manifested that energy within myself so that we would attract that. So you can use whatever techniques that you want to use to get into the feeling of your dream, your wish, your dream life, your big idea, whatever that is. And spend some time doing that. And then tomorrow on day 3, I'm going to share with you some other things that are pretty important to this process that are going to nail it in place for you. Okay? So that's all I have for you today. I'll see you tomorrow.